All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Four Wide Podcast. This is episode 14. We're almost to 15. It's great. Well,
Toes on that one, counting that up, man.
yeah, get some action I've never felt before when I was counting stuff. It's wild. In regards to, obviously Kent's not here. Let's just throw him underneath the bus immediately.
Go
Shameful.
Braves, though.
Yep, go Braves.
That's where he's at tonight.
Yeah,
Who are they playing tonight?
I hadn't followed the Braves since they won the World Series. Like that was the pinnacle, and I'm like, okay, now I can just kind of all cares just gone. Like
Yeah.
it's not even.
Didn't they
It's
win
like the.
COVID year?
I think it was a year after.
Okay, I got it.
But we do have the Austinator here with us today.
Nayabzu.
Indeed, we got Blanco with
What's
us
up,
today,
buddy?
and we are recapping the state of Texas, the whole entire state of Texas this week.
Big state.
Yeah, it's a big state, boys. What the freak?
Big as that Burt, though.
Gosh, the synergy is just off the charts tonight. It's like we're Roush back and when they were actually good. Alrighty, boys. So we're going to start with the truck race, which was the SpeedyCash.com 250. 15 lead changes among 9 drivers, and Allgaier had, or not Allgaier, Frick. The 7 truck had the fastest lap. See, boys, I'm already freaking over.
We shook him. We shook him.
We shook him loose. We shook him loose, which was a Hocevar. And that 7 truck had the fastest lap. But, I mean, obviously, Corey Heim got his 3rd win of the season. Let's clarify, 3rd win. I thought that he's won a lot more at this point because he should have won 5 races at this point. But I digress.
6 more wins to go.
Yep, he could probably do it, no doubt. I mean, Corey Heim getting to the point being, one of the best to do it in the truck series at this point. In all honesty, I mean, Austin made the comparison to Greg Biffle essentially at the beginning of the season because that's the statistic that he's going after. It's really cool to see. It's been a while since you've seen someone in the truck series that was dominant, that was not a cup driver, that's come down to racing the truck series. So we'll just talk about Heim's win. Of course, it was kind of at the end of the race, you had 2 overtimes, and that first overtime where Ben Rhodes and Rajah were 3 wide right there, and then they had to throw the caution before that. That kind of sucked because that would have been a great finish. But, of course, we had about a zillion cautions for 57 laps. I think it was 11 cautions for the truck race and the Xfinity race this weekend.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, he survived. I mean, Texas is. I mean, it's treacherous, but it's almost like trying to survive at a super speedway a little bit because
That's what it looked like this week.
one wrong move, especially around those bumps in turns 3 and 4. If you went much higher above that, I mean, you were backing yourself into the wall. And I mean, obviously down in turns 1 and 2, if you go no more than that third lane, and really the third lane's pushing it, but I mean, then you're up into the marbles and up into the last 80% of the track that's never really used there. So, but I did appreciate seeing guys trying and just having at it. I mean, but Heim survived, like that Rajah situation. They just didn't, and he did. So smart driving by him. Definitely got to be a little bit conservative at Texas if you want to. You want to make sure you get to the end. So, that's part of racing, and making sure you're available to race at the end. So good job on his end.
I agree with what I could comprehend from what you were saying there. You're cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the way it is when you're on the mobile app, it's kind of like when you're on a Zoom call. It's just like when you're talking and then there's something else going on, it prioritizes whoever's on like actual PCs and stuff. So you're going in and out a little bit.
Look at that.
It's all good. You just need to get your freaking laptop fixed, man.
Yeah.
You need what?
I need about 2 new ones.
What about you, Austin? What was your general thoughts about Heim's win and just overall in the truck race this weekend?
I was waiting for him to get it. Overall, though, the truck race I caught the last stage. Apparently, I missed a lot.
Yeah, you missed it a little bit. There's some
'Cause
stuff that happened.
I hopped in the final stage and I look at the little ticker that Fox has and I see half that bar is yellow. And I was like, the frick happened? And it didn't get much better from there. There was still, wrecking in the third stage as well. So, I think Blake put it best in the group chat. It's entertaining for all the wrong reasons. Couldn't nobody handle their trucks. But really, I think he had the best car, if not one of the best cars in the field. Texas was a track that I expected him to do well at, and I knew when Kent picked him this week, I was like, yeah, Kent's going to win. Not just because Heim is, just one of the best drivers in the truck series right now, but also because he's one of the best intermediate guys, I'd say, in between Xfinity and uh, truck. He's one of the best in the lower series at running these mile and a halves. But overall, I thought Texas was entertaining for the truck series. It was not exhilarating race by any means, but still enjoyable.
I think a good summarization is Lane Riggs wrecked twice for this race. And with a truck like they have the last few weeks, that just shows how treacherous the track is, because Lane Riggs is probably used to those tracks that doesn't have a lot of rubber. But man, it was tough to watch, in all honesty. There was it was one of those races which we kind of talked about. We were expecting that Texas was going to be a snoozer, and it kind of wasn't, but it could have been. You know what I'm saying? If they didn't wreck, it was going to be a snoozer, but they kept it entertaining, for what Blake said, for all the wrong reasons.
Well, it was like, there's not a lot of quality racing, green flag racing that goes on, but man, they wreck at just the right times. And hey, it saved the racing this weekend. So hey, I'm for it as a fan watching.
So, in all honesty, that's basically what we got. The two overtimes at the end were really exciting. I was kind of pulling for Ben Rhodes a little bit. In all honesty, I like me some Ben Rhodes. He's very much a character, and when it comes to the truck series,
It looks like Murr from
Impractical Jokers,
Impractical Jokers.
but he has hair.
Fair.
Because Murr has the big old bald spot on the top of his head, the old ferret, which I don't think Ben Rhodes looks like a ferret, so I'm just going to backtrack on that. But in all honesty, it was an entertaining race, but it wasn't a great race, if that makes sense. It wasn't like a nitty gritty to the end kind of race with a few cautions. It was just like Talladega on Texas. That's what it felt like, without all the grooves, because obviously they were running three wide. They couldn't run that third groove, or they ended up in the freaking atmosphere.
Yeah.
But with that win, Corey Heim essentially solidifies himself as on top of the leaderboard when it comes to the points. He's got 3 wins. Smith, of course, has 1. Hemrick's got 1. And Ankram's got 1. So no repeat winners other than Heim so far this year. So that's very interesting. Stuart Friesen had a terrible weekend. I actually picked him, and he was doing really well in the race. And then he got turned into scrap metal against the wall, and he is now 11 points out of the top 10, so that's tough for that team.
How about Gio getting absolutely
just missed? Just what did he didn't miss it, he hit it, but
it's like his controller died or something.
Disconnected from the match.
That turn's about a 90-degree turn, and he's trying to go about 45 degrees like a shortcut.
My goodness. You hate to see it, because Gio's had a really good season so far for being a first-time competitor in the truck series, and ended up 14th in the points right now. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
When you got people around you like Raja and Matt Crafton, of course, Crafton's having a horrific year. We thought Crafton might have had a chance of getting a really good finish this week, and then I swear he's like the Ryan Blaney this year of the truck series. Just nothing can go right for this man. Or you could say Kyle Busch, because that kind of fits the age gap a little bit better than, which we will talk about that. I swear, the freaking Cup race. They were like, Kyle Busch is doing so. Oh my gosh, he's turned around. I'm like, but that's essentially the truck. So I still think that the trucks, week in, week out, they probably got the overall best product. You got the best racing. You got the best Fox broadcast so far. I think Logano's really livelied up that booth a lot. Waltrip and him really have a interesting chemistry for some reason. It works out. So yeah, it's that'll be it for that. And then we'll move on to the Xfinity series where we get to talk about someone that we always talk about, it seems like. Again, though, the 7 got the fastest lap on 167, so he got a point. So the 7 and the 7 got the fastest laps this weekend in the Truck and Xfinity series. That's why I said Justin Allgaier earlier, and you guys are like, ha ha, this man idiot. He don't understand.
And then the
He
7 had the fastest lap in cups, man. 7 all around.
Yeah. 11
Sevens.
cautions. Yeah, 11 cautions for 62 laps and 12 lead changes. And I mean,
Can we talk about it?
yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that before we even talk about who won the race. This is just heart numbing for Allgaier because I swear this man had the best car.
Race was in the bag. I mean,
He's checked out. And go ahead and take it away, Mr. Logano fan.
so, Allgaier has a huge lead. I'd say 7-8 seconds lead at least on second place. Going into turns 3 and 4, and there's a lap car in front of him.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Chris Wright, I think.
He wishes he was as good as the actual number 5. But in the middle of the turn, you'd think, right? You think, look me in the eyes, camera. Look me in the eyes. So those who are watching on YouTube, if you are if you are a lap car, I don't even drive a freaking race car, and I know this. Pick a lane and stay in it. And so Chris Wright, he's going in turns 3 and 4, and instead of staying in his lane, he goes, "Oh, what do I do?" and goes up the track and then back down the track, forcing Allgaier to check up, hit him, and then go into the wall, ending Allgaier's day. Like, gosh, so stupid.
It's kind of like that part in Talladega Nights where Ricky Bobby's just swerving slow on the track a little bit. That's kind of what that reminded me of. I'm like, and there wasn't even a cougar in his car either. I'm like, come on, man.
Like, I was half mad because I picked Allgaier to win, but I was also just mad for him because no one wants to get taken out by something stupid like that.
Well, Chris Wright
Okay.
and I guess Mr. Wrong this year. I mean, look at what happened at Daytona. I mean, he just plow drives the field coming on the pit road. I mean, it's like something with this guy at least every other week. I'm like, man.
Wasn't that him and Josh Bilicki at Daytona? Is that right?
Yeah, that was Chris.
Because I remember the beef on X that they were having back and forth. I'm like,
And he blames the spotter.
yeah. My spotter didn't tell me I was clear on pit road, guys. My bad.
Spotter didn't tell him which lane to pick either.
Spotter said, just pick whatever lane, just go back and forth while you're going through the corner.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Or take the air off of him.
Sorry, I kind of crashed out there, but I just see Cole's face when he's drinking his water. He's like,
oh. Me. I will say though, my immediate thought, and this may not even be in the realm of what you guys think, but I think about that 5 car and seeing how slow it is. There's cars that don't make the race that are slower than these cars. Can you imagine those cars on the racetrack? I don't like throwing people underneath the bus because that's just not how I am as, a person, but this is second accident. Of course, one of them was technically not on track. It was more on like the grass in the infield and pit road kind of deal thing, but you just hate to see it. And I want to wish everybody the best of success, but I mean, you could say it's the quality of the car, sure, 100%. That car's not getting the best equipment. Probably don't got great brakes, but it's suspension. But when it comes to not running the correct line, it's not an equipment issue. It's a mentality issue.
Anthony Alfredo did fine in that car last year. I mean, it's mid tier at best, but just no. I mean, like I look at, and I know they're a level above them, but you look at somebody like Cody Ware, that Rick Ware, they're just trying to grind it out each week. But every time I've seen Cody Ware race around these lap guys, or excuse me, when the leader comes around, he is an old school. He gets out of the way and he runs his line, and they don't get in anybody's way. And I'm like, some of these guys need to just look at how Cody Ware races in the Cup Series, and he's respectful and he doesn't cause any problems. Like this is not the same Rick Ware that was in 2020, and I think they would do a good job to learn from some guys like that.
That's fair. So you hate to see it because Allgaier 100% was winning that race. I mean, unless something insanely crazy happened other than Chris Wright and I'll be able to choose whatever lane that he was going to run, which is also wild because it's at Texas. There's 2 lanes at the racetrack that you can run, pretty much. The third line is when things get a little sketchy. And you see people like Kyle Busch just absolutely lose it and just touching that third lane. So shameful, in all honesty, and it really wrecked a good finish for him. But the gain was for a guy that, I mean, he's out to embarrass everybody, and he jumps into a car that's literally driven by a junior motorsports driver that's got a win this season, but could have had a couple wins, and shows that that car can just absolutely outperform whenever it comes to a good strategy and whatnot. Like it shows the 88 should be running in the top 5 and top 10 week in, week out.
Well, do you remember when Dale Jr. told Kyle Larson he was trying to call his bluff a little bit? He's like, "Hey, won't you come back and race a few more and really embarrass the field?" And then he hops into a junior car, and well, it's like
Freaking wins the race.
so I don't know. I saw Junior's tweet this week. I'm like, you know what? I bet he was still happy at the end of the day.
Well, I bet you the freaking sponsor was fantastic. That's the first race they've ever been a part of. And
Yeah.
they get in the victory lane. Then you got Joe Logano who wins the Cup race, and it's been Triple A's been with him like since he's been at Penske. It's been one of his sponsors. He's not won a race with him ever.
Well, I know they used to sponsor one of the Texas races for a little while there. So I know. I guess they have a pretty big presence in the Fort Worth area. But
Yeah. Austin, I swear, stop clicking the freaking pen. Fidget with your fingers because you're going to have to edit all that pin noise out. It's going to be very annoying for you. I'm just trying to help you out.
I'll do it on the back half of the
Okay.
podcast.
Oh, you little. One one thing that probably shouldn't be overlooked is the reason that Larson was able to get that win. It was another double overtime win because, of course, we can't have a green white checker without someone just absolutely plowing in the wall, especially at Texas. Marty Lindley, actually, his crew chief, won him that race by having him come down pit road and got him the fresher tires and gassed him up, and he was ready to go. And it just worked out where all that stopping and going really propelled them up. So of course, you could say, Larson got in a junior motorsports car and showed Zillich that maybe he could win a couple more races or whatnot. But it was also a fantastic strategy call on the team part. So that needs to be shouted out, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think I didn't think Larson was going to win because he was not
No,
the best car all day. Obviously that was Allgaier, but I thought once Allgaier ran, I was like, oh, this is Hill's race to lose, and he ran out of talent. So
no, someone that ran out of talent was freaking Sam Mayer. He could have had the race won. I swear, though, I was watching that last lap, and I didn't even care about Larson winning. No cares. I watched Austin Hill on that last lap try to pass Sam Mayer because I know we can't pick Sam Mayer this weekend. I was screaming at Austin Hill. I was like, go, 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 pass him. I was like, I need this point in Xfinity because I suck this year. And Austin Hill got it done with that P4, and Sam Mayer got P5s. Uh, another shout out to the Burtons. Both of them were in the top 10 this week once again. I mean, freaking fantastic performance by the Burtons. Um, it's really interesting to see how this equipment, of course, with Jeb, his equipment, you kind of expected a little bit more. But with Harrison, man, this AM racing equipment that we've seen struggle, and we've talked about it a couple of weeks in and out, it's been propelling them to pretty good finishes. And you could say, well, it's the driver, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think, man, I think you got to give credit to that team for just staying in the fight, right? Because when you had a year like they did the past couple of years, man, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what Xfinity purses look like for like 25th to 30th, but I can't imagine it's a money making ride, you know? And so just kudos to them for staying fighting and doing their best because it is paying off for them this year, and I'm happy to see it for them. And you know that this season has to be such a huge refresh for the guys at the AM shop too.
For sure. That kind of momentum, in all honesty, it's propelling them to a fantastic spot in the points standings at the current point. I mean, it's been for both Burtons. I mean, it's been astronomical to see these teams compete week in and week out for these points. And of course, you have drivers that have come in and won some races at Xfinity level that's not points drivers like Larson has. He's won two of the races. So you do take those out of the calculation. But still, when you got, let's see here, I have it. Harrison is in 11th. He's 14 points to the good right now.
Oh wow!
And let's see here. And Jeb is ninth. He's 27 points to the good. So both Burtons, they're above Ryan Sieg, or Jeb's in front of Ryan Sieg, and Burton's actually Harrison's in front of Sheldon Creed right now. So
That's a testament to finish the race. I mean, you look at, I mean, Ricky Stenhouse in the Cup
yeah,
Series right now. I mean, just finishing, putting races together, and you eventually leapfrog some of these guys who are struggling because they can't seem to make it to the end.
and the crazy thing about that is Ricky Stenhouse, of course, has no DNFs. There's only 28 people that work in that
And they just rebranded this year.
and lost their primary sponsor, but Kroger, because it went over to went to Roush
Yeah,
with RFK.
yeah, and I mean, I know it looks like just from what I've observed, if you have the Kroger sponsorship, they have some really good partnerships with all the brands that they would sell at the Kroger store, like Palmolive and Reese's and stuff like that. So it looks like once you get a Kroger sponsorship, you get about 10 to 15 extra sponsorships. So I can't imagine losing something like that. And then you come out swinging like they have this year and just finishing races, man. Testament to that team also.
And it's also one of those things. I was talking to Austin about this earlier in the week. He called me randomly one night or something. And we got talking.
He texted me last night too.
I don't want to know what that text was about,
You
He
used
told
to
me,
call me on your cell phone.
but it's the way that Kroger does it. It kind of mirrors Menards. Menards does the same kind of sponsorship. They have like a rotational of partners and stuff. But I think Kroger does such a better job with it because Menards, they keep that ugly freaking color on that car and they put the logo of whatever that primary grocery, whatever it is, on the hood, and then they got all the other ones on the side. And it's just like,
yeah.
it's not really eye pleasing.
Well, you
Where
see
Kroger,
too, like on Brandon Jones's Xfinity car, there at the bottom left part of the court.
that's what that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. It's wild. Kroger, the way they do it is they actually choose one partner every week, and then they really flesh it out too. Sometimes if you got two cars that's got Kroger on it, obviously, they just do such a better job. It's sad that the performance of RFK has not been nearly what Ricky's has been. I mean, in all honesty, I would say you probably take Ricky Stenhouse's average finish and you take Brad K's average finish. Ricky's probably in front of him because he's finished all the races at least.
man, what's going on with Brad this year? Is it luck? Is it the car? Is it the driver?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it when we get to the Cup Series.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is basically everything I got written down for the Xfinity race. Austin Hill's got 3 wins this year. Probably should only have 2. Thanks, Sammy Smith. Justin Allgaier's got 2 wins. He probably should have 4. Connor Zillich has got 1 win. Jesse Loves has got 1 win. Smith's got 1 win. And Jones has got 1 win. So we got a whole bunch of drivers that just have one singular win. It's been kind of a wild year. And then drivers that are out, you got Daniel Dyer that's just outside the top 13, 11 points out. Taylor Gray, 19 points out. Nick Sanchez, 21 points out. That's probably, I mean, if you're that team, you want to be in, obviously, but that's still a really good performance for a rookie to be competitive. Same thing with Taylor Gray. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I was just looking. The record for most Xfinity Series wins at a single season is 10. 10 races.
Kyle Busch.
Nope.
Carl Edwards.
Nope. Sam Ard in 1983.
Who the frick are you?
Who is that guy? The most Xfinity Series wins for a rookie is 7.
Obviously, that back then was Bush, Nationwide, all that good beans. So that's like throughout the whole slamma jamma.
You know who holds that record for the most Xfinity since for a rookie?
No.
Kenseth?
I said no. I don't have no freaking clue.
No, it's not Kenseth. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding donk. Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
Swear to goodness. I texted. I'm going to say it here because Kent's not on here. He'll listen to it and he'll get upset. I don't care if he makes it halfway through the podcast.
Dang.
He
Salty.
he told me who he's going to pick, who he's considered picking for his first pick for Kansas when we get to that later part of the show. And Austin asked me, who it is, and I sent him a picture of someone ringing a one of those bells that you put on like the counter for service.
Yeah.
And it was like, and Austin's like, Dinger? I'm like, no, man, freaking bell. It's a bell. I swear, I lost it. Speaking of losing it, we'll go to the Word 400. Kent was losing it with this finish here. Mr. Clutch. He might be the new generational closer here. Joe Logano ended up catching that win, which surprised a lot of people. But if you watch the progression of him naturally on the track, shouldn't have been surprised because he was working. Why? You look so cold over there, buddy. You look like you need a hug.
No.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Chastain finished second. That's a fantastic performance for Trackhouse. Suarez finished also in the top 10. So, I mean, it's great for them. But I'm going to shout out this because I've talked about this. Eric Jones and John Hunter Nemechek both in the top 10 this week for Legacy. What a fantastic performance for that organization. And to think that I could have picked John Hunter Nemechek and won this week sets me off in so many levels.
Well, glad you didn't.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just talk about Legacy here. I mean, they've been pretty strong throughout, especially Eric Jones this year. Had that dual win that was essentially stolen from him.
No, it wasn't essentially. It was stolen.
It was stolen by Silver Spoon. Silver Spoon stole that duel from him.
No, I wouldn't say that.
But,
What do I?
yeah, you
Silver
don't know
Spoon.
nothing.
Silver Spoon.
But, I mean, Eric Jones had a fantastic year, and John Hunter's having a lot better year than he had last year. Last year, he was the car that literally spun out every single race. They even said that on the broadcast one day. I was like, gosh dang. It's like, what? It's like on a podcast or something, I get it, but to say that literally on the broadcast, that's tough. Just talk about Legacy's performance overall so far this year. Of course, nothing fantastic, but still, for a team that's still trying to find a foothold where like Trackhouse hadn't struggled for that. Just hear what y'all got to say. I don't care which either one of you.
Yes, Legacy's one of these teams, man. You really want to see them do well with Richard Petty owning it, along with Johnson. And they do have two good drivers. You look at what Eric Jones has done with two Southern 500 wins. Like, bad drivers don't win the Southern 500 once, and they sure don't win it twice. And he won that in a legacy car, which is, I mean, it takes a really good driver to win in a kind of a subpar car at Darlington.
We were there for that one.
Yeah, we sure were, man. They just struggle more than what you would like to see. I mean, it's wild. Like, sometimes the worst driver, like you take Richard Childress, he wasn't a fantastic driver, but I mean, but then he owned Dale Earnhardt's car, and so you see some of the best drivers. Sometimes uh, they don't always have a lot of wins as owners, but man, it would be good for the sport if they did. And so I hope that this will be a kind of a kick in the pants for them to turn their season around, because it'd be great for the sport. It would give a lot of good content for, I mean, especially your base. Who, I mean, nobody hates Richard Petty. So I hope this can be a turn for them.
I'm certain that a Toyota Gazoo Racing would really appreciate, because they always are talking about the JJ being the part owner of this team, which I think he's majority owner now. I think that swapped up earlier in the year. He
Yeah,
took more of a prominent role, which maybe that's some of these performances that we're seeing. Which, how many years did Johnson drive in the current gen car? Was it none, or was it one?
full time.
Well, part time, we could say.
He's been part time for a few since 2023, so he's going on.
Yeah, he raced the 600 at 2023 because that's when I made that joke about like, can he get another win at the Coke 600? I was like, no,
Hey,
unless he cheats again.
He about got a freaking win at Daytona this year.
Yeah,
He was real close.
yeah. uh, so probably about three, I would think.
So, like, what would you say? Like 8 races, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say that's.
Yeah. That's hard. It's so hard to get a feel for this car with 8 races, but maybe being in the car has helped him out a little bit in regards to make changes that the cars really need. All right, let's hear the glazing. Let's go ahead and let's hear it from the guy that's wearing the mustard yellow shirt right now.
Man, I'm not gonna glaze that much.
That much.
That much. I'll be as more unbiased than certain people on this podcast that are Hendrick fans. But
I can't like that, man.
overall, looking at Texas, the race,
Shocker.
What? I thought
the
I thought it was great.
the racing product itself was pretty bad, especially the first two stage. It was pretty. It was a snoozer. It was just straight line, train racing. You'd have a guy that be not even a half a second behind the leader, can't make up any ground to try and pass him. Hardly any other lanes to work with except the bottom line. I mean, just it really sucked. But you had plenty of cautions, and how many was the total?
I got you, buddy. I got you. Let's
It's
see
strategy
here.
too.
That's true. Well, obviously, you have a lot of cautions. I mean, that's going to kind of play into it for sure. Well, frick, how did I not write this down? I'm sorry. I'm special. Let me get a minute here. Results. Da da da. We had 12.
So
So
more.
you add up the Xfinity and the trucks. That's 22. And then 12. 24 cautions for 3 races.
So 12 cautions in this race. The caution.
Frick, hang on. My math sucks.
No, it's 12, 11.
So it's
It's
22
20,
plus
34.
12.
34.
Yeah, 34.
So, the cautions added a level of intrigue to it. But you rolled for that. But it did add a level of intrigue because of pit strategy. They had to pit a lot more, had to pit more frequently, they had to be more. You definitely had to be precise with your pit stops, but, to talk about Joey winning, to go from P27 to winning the race at Texas, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
As a Joey fan, at the beginning of the race, I was like, oh, there ain't no way. We're going to maybe get a top 15 finish. That's it. Then, into stage one, I'm like, okay, he's up to like P15, P16. Cool. Maybe we can get a top 10. Into stage two, he's in the top 10. And then those cautions that kind of bunched up right there at the end, that was that helped him get top 5, and then eventually helped him get into the position where he took the lead for the double overtime at the end and held off Chastain and Blaney for the win. But man, I think we got to talk about that move. That move by Michael McDowell, backstretch. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that.
Loved it. I said, block that son of a gun right into the wall. I'm like, even if you have to crash out yourself, like,
which he did.
I hope they would. I was hoping they both hopped the apron. It's like, come on. No, I think, man, McDowell is hungry for a win with a new team. I thought he did a great job for having 2 tires. I thought he did a great job. You know, what do we as fans want him? Just say, oh, well, you've got 2 better tires. Let's just go ahead and pass me for the lead. No, block them down to the white line. I mean, I would say that even if it was a Hendrick guy too. And so, I loved it. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining.
I think McDowell could have let Joey take the lead and had a better chance of passing him again off the corner if he would have maybe held his line, blocked it a little bit, maybe held his line, and then try to get him back. I think he would have had a better chance at doing it than just straight up, I turn left now, good luck everybody else. But what do you think?
I think he freaked out. In all honesty, that's what me and you were talking about. I think he legit looked, and he seen that Logano or the spotter was telling he was coming, and he freaked out because he acted like it was Homestead riding the freaking apron. Like he was
like Indianapolis on the front stretch.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? Just imagine if what if Blake said, like what if that transpired, if both of them wrecked right there. What a horrific look for NASCAR. You might like it as a fan, but as we criticize the Xfinity series for being too drastic with stuff. That's pretty drastic in a way.
I'm trying to think about it fairly, in all honesty, because I love the move, and I ain't just saying that because it was on Logano. I thought it added a great part to the race. But I mean, it's 2-sided. I think some of these younger guys are desperate and they do make stupid moves, but it happens so often. You're like, it gives it a bad rap. Man, it's good to see some Cup guys look like they want a win, and I didn't mind it. I mean, at the end of the day, they didn't wreck, so
that's true. Okay, replace Michael McDowell with, let's say, Ricky Stenhouse blocking like that. I feel like your view would be a little bit more different because there is a certain Michael McDowell bias that me and you both have for watching him win the Daytona 500.
that might be true.
I think it is.
But one thing I do appreciate about Ricky, I mean, he adds content to the race. He's not bland. I think the expectations are so low going into Texas. You see something like that, I'm like, wow. I appreciate that out of this place. Now, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, if somebody would have done now, if Logano would have done that to somebody like Larson, I mean, I probably would have been pissed.
And freaking Kent would have lost it.
I mean, there's definitely. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. There's definitely be some bias in there, but as long as they don't just make a fool out of themselves, I like to see good hard racing.
Man, Kent sounded like a boomer in the group chat this past Sunday. I was like, brother,
give examples.
Oh, Logano wins a race. And he's not going to win another one.
He backs into one. Then he's going to win a 4th championship because he backs into it.
Well, I look, Legato's one of those guys. He's so nice around the fans, like he is. He's been so nice to me and to Cole and to all the fans I've ever seen. But for some reason, it's like, God, I don't want him to win. And I don't know why I feel like that.
That is Kit's perspective 100% too. He legit said that on the podcast. We have it. We can roll back the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't really have a reason why I don't like Logano.
Gosh dang it.
I just don't like the guy.
I even told my wife. I don't know why I don't like this guy.
Like, I don't hate him. I don't know that I love him. I don't hate him. There's a couple other drivers I just can't stand. I don't know if Logano's one of them.
I just find it funny, out of all the drivers that I could represent on this podcast, I pick Logano. That's the one Kit hates, like loathes. I don't know if he just loathes Logano more because of me, but I was, I'm not the type of guy that rubs in stuff like that. But I took that opportunity this weekend.
Well, it also didn't help that Hamlin blew up.
I know double hatred on both sides. He picked that he hates. But
my man was broiling from that lap. Like, he was on a constant simmer. Then Logano just put him up to like 10 on the heat level.
It's been a rough 2 weeks. Logano's responsible for getting him DQ. And then the next week, Logano wins.
Yeah.
And then Denny blows up.
Oh my gosh.
He's almost out of. You almost want to buy him a little diecast car.
Yeah, I'll get him a Joey diecast.
Yeah.
Or Wilkesboro.
Get him a Wilkesboro one.
Or you could get him the one that I got you, the Darlington one, the little small one, because...
Oh, no.
Does he wreck Byron? Or rather, Byron wrecked himself.
Oh, goodness gracious. Man, we're just dying over here today.
Oh, man, poor Kent. We love you, buddy.
Yeah. I think the main thing with the Logano, my feelings about it, I really respect someone that can sit down and grind a race when they don't qualify real well. Larson, that's someone that does the exact same thing. If he doesn't qualify well, he's able to drive up the track. Bowman did it this weekend. He qualified terribly, got sent in the back early, and drove all the way back up front, and then got into an accident due to a poor pit stop, which is weird because you're usually one of the best pits on pit road. So, but Joe Logano, I think, is that guy that I would think is one that can really grind a race out, kind of similar to what a Kevin Harvick used to do back in the 4-car Stewart Haas. Because there would be races where, like, at the end of the race, Harvick comes out of nowhere, and you're like, where the frick did this man come from?
Yeah.
And that's why they gave him the nickname the Closer all those years, because he could just drive his tail off and make those adjustments. Had a good crew chief behind him, and they were able
Wolf's one of the best.
They were able to work real well together, and that have a great appreciation for that kind of feel to a race car, to be able to like say, hey, Paul, I need this, this, and this. Okay, that's a little bit better, but we still need to work on this and this. And to be able to have that translation onto the track, I think that's great for the sport. And if it was Larson that did the exact same thing, everybody would be throwing their pants off, running shirtless through the middle of New York City.
Taking a Coca-Cola bath.
Yeah, like...
Posted on the internet.
It's just... If it's anybody else, but since it's Logano, it's the end of the world. It's a crusade.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a double standard there for sure. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's only a few drivers that I loathe seeing in victory lane, but thankfully it's pretty rare. So, rarely happens for them.
Who
like
it the win?
Brecky, for one. Like that Talladega win he had, I did not enjoy that win. I was like, really? All that for a Ricky Stenhouse win? And then, of course, Austin Dillon. I mean, y'all knew that.
I love Ricky. I love Ricky and Austin. That's the funny thing about it. You don't like them, but I actually like them because they are fantastic, like personalities in the sport.
They really, they're so good.
I don't have any hatred towards Hendrick drivers. Don't mind Larson, don't mind Byron, don't mind Bowman. Don't mind any of them. I don't really dislike any of the other drivers that are on the grid. It's just really Austin and Ricky. But for some reason, I just catch it all from Kent on Joey Logano, rent free in his head. So
Most people say you get like double barrels, you get both barrels, so you get 3 barrels when it comes to Kent and Logano. He
gosh,
loads that extra barrel up for you. Well, I mean, a great transition here because, man, William Byron sucked this weekend. Am I right?
amen, brother.
I still won.
Yeah, and 14th.
And I tied you.
I think more or less we were expecting Byron to be a prominent driver in the top 10 all day. And that, of course, having that damage on pit road on that front end of that car, it seemed to impact it a lot, especially where Texas is such an aerodynamic track. You take the air off somebody's front end, you send them into the wall, like Blaney sent Michael McDowell essentially when he passed him, which you can say, Michael McDowell kind of did that to himself, was doing the block because that kind of threw him off for that whole lap and he was super slow. But I digress. I mean, it was shocking to me to see Byron struggle a little bit after that, but he still was able to get that top 15, which I mean, still better than where did Chase end up finishing? Like 20.
Let me look on the app real quick. And Byron, he was before the damage, he was a 4th to 7th place car really all day.
Chase finished 16th. I have it pulled up, buddy.
I got you.
So
But yeah, he was a 4th, 7th place car, but he wasn't nowhere near as dominant as what we all probably predicted. Because I thought, honestly, usually when Spire qualifies well, they fall back a lot during the race. And so I thought that with William Byron qualifying second, he would easily take the lead on the first lap, and it would be like Darlington, in all honesty. But it didn't work out that way.
yep. So
I think one thing that I took away from the race is I was so gutted for Hocevar. I mean, this dude had an incredible, 2 stages, and then just got caught in the back, got in a wreck, and ruined his day. I just felt so bad for him because he had a great weekend leading up to that.
Untimely caution for him, for sure.
I mean, the same crap happened to him in the truck race essentially too.
Yeah.
I mean,
He got
he
stuck
just
on, was it Tony Bridinger in the truck race?
Probably.
Yeah, 5 truck.
Sorry,
well,
I say
it
that.
That was
it's crazy to me that Tricon you got Corey Heim who's just absolutely in a whole different element, like whole different unit, right? And then you got Gio who's had a solid year. He's probably been the second best truck, and then you got her, which
her has a
what? Well, yeah,
Hmm.
but I'm just anyways. And then they have what fourth truck? They have Tanner Gray, right? No, not Tanner Gray. Who is it?
Taylor's in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, so it's Tanner. Tanner's been pretty decent this year too,
And then
but
what they call that all-star truck, that number 1 truck,
yeah,
which, when Brandon Jones and William Sawalich drive it, I don't know if it's call that an all-star, but here we are.
I swear Sawallish has just probably had the worst year overall between trucks and Xfinity together.
Yeah.
It's been a tough year for that man. Arca's doing pretty good though.
Yeah. So is
Yeah,
Lawless Allen.
Dang it.
me
Man, he was an inspiration at Dega. I look at that race, I'm like, man, why can't Cup be like this?
goodness gracious. But I mean, that's basically all my takeaways from Texas. Unless you guys have anything that really sticks out to you, other than it was just a kind of a mediocre race like we expected.
I wanted to ask y'all, what's the balance in? Like, obviously, we would love to see more lanes, be it for the drivers to race in at this track, right? But do y'all like the fact that if you do overdrive, because we t- we talk about it, all the industry talks about how there doesn't seem to be fun in this car if you overdrive, because most of the time you can just downshift and go. but there's a punishment for overdriving at this track. Do you think Texas kind of has a? Do you think it's kind of morphed into a good identity? It's like, hey, this track is treacherous. Like I know the green flag racing isn't great quality, but ever since this next gen cars debut, you've had like 16 cautions, 11 cautions, 16 cautions, 11, 12 cautions, and really they were all natural cautions this week too. So, do you touch Texas? I mean, or just kind of let it be treacherous?
I'd be all right with them just throwing dirt all over and calling it a day.
Now, as a dirt lover, that would be great, but
I mean, in all honesty, I told Austin this earlier in the week. Texas has got plenty of dirt to spare. It's kind of a big state. They can just start scooping some up outside the track and just put it on there. Put some tumbleweeds on that track
yeah,
and let them roll. But my thing is, you say a lot of the cautions were natural, but a lot of them that I seen, they were arrow cautions. When someone like whooped up right in front of them, they sent them. And it wasn't more of an overdriving issue. It was a more of, hey, I passed you and I cut your air off, and then you can't drive
yeah.
issue.
Well, by natural cautions, I mean stage breaks or bullcrap debris cautions.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what.
I got you.
Let me clarify on that.
I don't know, man. When I looked at the race this weekend, I sit there and say, you know what? This track looks, this was a great race because it was treacherous. Heck no, I did not say that. I said, my gosh, man, this looks like Talladega on steroids on a smaller track's what it felt like.
Yeah. What was the glove? It's Tuesday, so
I got it pulled up. I was going to mention it. So they thought that Texas was a 50-50 essentially. 50.7 positive and 49.3 said no.
Because Joey won.
Yeah, but Darlington, what would we say? The Darlington race was a good race, right? Wouldn't you say?
I'd say it was okay.
Would you say it's better than Texas was?
Honestly, no.
Okay, that's what they said. Because Darlington's got 45.9%. But I enjoy watching the product of Darlington more than I watch what this was.
Now,
Darlington was not as intriguing because Byron, basically won the race from the green flags.
True.
That's why.
Then Hamlin ended up winning the race.
so I told y'all this last week, and I look at for a good race, there has to be lead changes, passing, unpredictability, multiple group tire wear.
There wasn't no freaking lead changes this race. If that was, it was on pit road.
Yeah, it was due to strategy, so we'll kind of put an even mark on that. Passing, not much under green flag conditions. Unpredictability,
That was something.
yeah. Multiple grooves,
Not really.
there were two into the race. I mean, and then tire wear, I thought there was a decent amount of power on the right sides, but left sides, obviously, when you can stay out front 40 some laps and almost win, I don't know that that's really great time.
I'm gonna drive home and shove that pen down your throat, Austin.
So I would say, by the way that I rated it through that mentality, I think 50% is probably about the best that you could probably get from that. But I think also, too, what might have made it a little bit better. Now, feel free to disagree. I know Fox had a new director or a new producer this week. They showed, and look, I'll call it peg a peg. They showed a lot of racing in the mid pack. I thought throughout the race, and so I think you were able to see I remember they were showing like the battle for like 30th at one point. So I'm like, hey, we kind of asked for that, so I appreciated that. Maybe they just saw that. Maybe they just showed us a little bit more of an action throughout the track than they did at Darlington, but I don't know.
It's such a darn shame it took them literally to the end of the broadcast to figure out that
Well,
you watch racing.
I know. I'm right there with you on that, but yeah, I probably would have voted no on the good race.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They said Talladega was a worse race than Texas.
Well, that's because it ain't racing, really. It's just fuel.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let's just move on. Frig Texas. We don't have to worry about it till next year. That's the good thing about only being once on the schedule.
Kansas.
Now we talk about some good racing.
Yes.
So we only have Truck and Cup this week. Xfinity is off. They're off till Charlotte. So they'll be off for this week and next week, North Wilkesboro. So we'll have Truck and Cup the next 2 weeks. We got some cars and some trucks that are making starts that are not usually on the track every week to week. You got the number one, the all-star Brandon Jones making a return. Got the '07 William Byron making his return in the truck. That would be a one to watch. And you also got Hocevar in the 7 truck. I wish I would have picked Hocevar this week instead of last week, but it is what it is. 22 of Morgan Budd. And Luke Baldwin will be making a start in the 66. So that's a good start right there. And then on the Cup level, we have 2 noticeables. We got the 33 of Jesse Love. We love Jesse Love here at 4 Wide. And making his Cup debut in the 67 for 2311, we will have Corey Heim. That will be one to watch for sure. So those are my noticeable people. Anything kind of prick your ears up, Luke Baldwin does for me. I mean, it's a 66 truck. Of course, that's not a. That's right. You dropped that pen, Frigger. And of course, Corey Heim. That's another one that definitely. I mean, Love's had multiple starts at this point. So, anything cool about that? No.
I hope. I know that Zilich was supposed to originally be in the '07 this week, and I know Byron, like you said, he's taking his spot. So that's probably just the only thing I probably should let our listeners know um, is that he'll be filling in for Zilich this week.
So the 88. Do you think he'll be running in the 88 this week, or do you think someone else is going to take over?
But
Xfinity doesn't race this week.
That's right. I was testing you guys.
just for y'all, boy.
That Pat State.
Oh my gosh. All right, Austin. Your segment is first this week since Mr. Kent did not make it.
Man. Well,
I'm just going to sit back and get me some more oxygen for what I just lost from last.
all right. Let's talk about Kansas. I don't have a ton of history on the track, but I will talk about the most recent history since the next-gen car has been on the scene since 2022. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but Kansas used to kind of be a snoozer up until the point where we are now with the next gen. It didn't used to be as interesting as it has been the past couple of years. Just to highlight some things that have happened the most recent years, 2022 was a big year for 2311 because if you guys remember, they swept the races at Kansas. Kurt Busch took home the spring race in 2022 in the 45 Jordan car. And then in the fall, Bubba got his second career win, and what some people would argue his first true win that wasn't coming down to I'm just being serious. It wasn't down to rain, right? So that happened in 2022. Also dominated his race in the spring, leading 116 laps. 2023 spring was Denny Hamlin won that race. It was also his first win of 2023, and he used a last lap pass to get around Kyle Larson. But also, 2023 spring was famous for one of my favorite moments with the next gen car. It was Ross Chastain and Noah Gragson getting into a kerfuffle. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
You better stop.
Get your hands. You better stop. You better stop. And man, just seeing, I took that into my phone and put it into a slow motion capture, just watching the, like it was just chef's kiss. But that happened in the 2023 spring, because Chastain used to race a lot more aggressive than he did at that point. And then 2024 spring. This one is going to go down in.
What a snoozer, right?
Yeah. This one is going into the record books. This is going into the record books as the closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. 1 seconds, where Kyle Larson beat out Chris Buescher for the win at Kansas. I remember watching that with my wife, who was a Larson fan, and she was going crazy when they showed on the timing line that his bumper by like a credit card crossed the finish line first. So Kansas, man, this next gen car, it's been hitting. It's been hitting in this next gen car. It is a hot ticket now on the NASCAR circuit. The next gen has saved this track, in my opinion. It is a fun track. So, to talk a little bit about Kansas, good segue right into the specs of the track. Kansas is a 1.5 mile oval, has been transformed into a place. This next gen car, you have multiple grooves, you have side by side action right down to the finish. Kansas, as I said, it became the place of the closest finish. The fall race was almost entertaining last year, with Chastain fending off a late charge from William Byron to grab his only win of the season, while Kyle Busch spun out while leading the race, washed. You had that happen. But anyways, the track is a 1.5 mile tri-oval. An intermediate track that gets 2 dates in the NASCAR calendar, one in the spring, one in the fall for the playoffs. The turns are between 17 to 20 degrees in progressive banking. The front stretch has a tri-oval that has a banking between 9 and 11 degrees, and the back stretch has a banking of 5 degrees. What makes this track so interesting? Well, multiple lanes and multiple grooves that can be run. You can run it at the wall if you want to. If you're Kyle Larson or Tyler Reddick, you can run your car right up on the wall if you want. You can run middle if you want. You can run the bottom if you want. It's not like some of these tracks where there is a preferred lane. Kansas does not have a preferred lane. You can run wherever you want as long as your car can hold there. The surface of the track is older as well, which Blake will get into when he starts talking about tires. The surface of the track is older. 2012 was the last year that it was repaved. So tire wear and conservation is a big factor, and you have to handle how much these cars are going to be sliding around on the track, especially if it's a warmer day. Winners at this track, guys that are good, typically are your guys that do good on dirt. Guys that are good at this race typically have a history at dirt. So Larson, Hamlin, Reddick, Buescher, guys that can handle their cars really well. I sound like Blake. Handle their car really well. Are all guys who usually find their way up to the front. They win stages or they win the race as a whole. So I believe that Kansas is going to produce another fantastic race for us this weekend. It hasn't missed since the next gen era. So I'm excited to see what it brings us this coming spring. With that, I will segue to Mr. Balake to talk about tires. It gonna rain?
Nah, not gonna rain.
No, it ain't raining. No.
Nah. So, man, Austin, you talked about it great, buddy. This is a fantastic track. Great racing. The track surface was starting to really come into its prime with the 550 package they were running. And so it has some good racing, but next gen has made it great racing. And so with the tires, obviously the 18-inch diameters, as always, they are running the same tire setup as Texas on the right sides and same left side tire. It's basically essentially the same tire setup that they had for Las Vegas, Homestead, Darlington, Texas, and now here. So obviously they're expecting a lot of abrasive wear to the tires, and obviously they're going to be sliding around. That helps with tire wear too. The weather is going for Sunday. It looks like it's going to be about 78, so that's going to be awesome track temp. They've they've done a super good job with the tires here. They definitely matter, so it'll be a part of the storyline, especially if you can get some well timed cautions, kind of like you did at Texas. Except you'll see a lot more green flag passing. Trucks are on the same tire combination they've run here since 2022. Tires always matter in the truck series, so lots of potential for strategy and fall off on this. I'm really looking forward to this. The tires always produce great racing here at Kansas. As many faults as people might harp on at other tracks, and with this car, tires, they have the right combination here at Kansas. So look for a fun weekend on that this week.
Just wanted to.
No, you go first.
I was just going to clarify what a tri-oval is in case somebody doesn't know what a tri-oval is. A tri-oval is basically your track is partly an oval, but then the part where the front stretch is usually shaped like a triangle. Has a triangular kind of cone shape to it, so it kind of goes like this, and the front stretch kind of goes down, and then the rest of the track is a full oval. So just want to clarify.
Love it. Great job there, Austin. Great visualization right there. Dang it. I was going to do my thing that I did last week. They sent Austin so good, but he kind of stole my thunder without asking about, they're going to be rain tires. But can't do it this week because he stole my thunder on that one.
Sorry, I won't do that next week.
It's okay. Kansas, man, is a hot ticket right now in NASCAR. It really is. I actually have a buddy that I trade diecast and buy diecast from. He went to the Kansas race in the fall and went to the spring one, both. And he lives in Alabama. So he flies to Kansas from Alabama to go to this racetrack. That shows how much. I mean, most people are like, yeah, I'll go to the Daytona 500. I'll go to the Southern 500. But to go out of your way to go to both races that are not prominent races, they don't have like a notoriety. They're not championships. They're not the Daytona 500. They're not the Brickyard. They are just races. The Advent Health 400, I think, is what the title sponsor for the Cup races this weekend. That says a lot. This is one that me and Blake's talk about here lately about being a bucket list track, especially with this car. I mean, if you're going to go to a Kansas race, go and see it in this car because it's hard to imagine the next generation of car, whenever that does develop, being anything close to what it has been so far at this track. Especially, I mean, all the mile and a halves, really, in all honesty.
Yeah, this is peak NASCAR for mile and a halves. I mean, this is some good stuff.
So, Blake, would you consider taking the boys to the race here?
Yeah, man. Especially,
yeah,
buddy.
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
But also, of course, one of the big hype things right now is all I'm hearing from like different podcasts is people hyping up North Wilkesboro this weekend or next weekend for the All-Star race. Me and Blake's attended both All-Star races there last year and the year before, and I was there for the truck race as well. Man, I got absolutely toasted that weekend. I looked like a red Smurf.
Yeah.
It was bad. That's how we got to the sun poisoning. That was the Charlotte race in the Xfinity Series where I wore the coat.
Yeah. For that.
So good memories and bad memories attached.
And my wife accidentally hit you.
Yeah, at the Coke 600 on my knee. I was like, feel your skin just like, it's like, ooh, wear sunscreen.
For the love of God.
Especially if you a pale boy like me and got freckles. But North Wilkesboro, we'll talk about that next week, of course. But if you're planning to ever go to this racetrack, I don't imagine the All-Star race being there much longer. I imagine that it's probably going to move just like the championship race is going to move to Homestead for next year on that rotational system that NASCAR's finally listened to the fans about and drivers and everybody else. It's nice to know that they actually have ear holes and they listen to what people say.
Because they sure ain't doing it about this car on other tracks.
But the North Wilkesboro is a track that you probably should visit as well. So 2 tracks back to back that are fantastic. Maybe not on the racing side for North Wilkesboro because it's been kind of a struggle. I'm hoping maybe with that package that they ran at Bowman Gray, they could do something similar to that. It might be a little bit better. It's not going to be Bowman Gray because the atmosphere at Bowman Gray was rocking. It was.
Yeah, so I'm super glad. I mean, especially because growing up 45 minutes from the track, like I'm glad it's back. It has come back at a bad time for short tracks. And I mean, with this package, oh my gosh. Like, they tried, and I'm glad they tried the old asphalt surface, but it was time to repave it. And most repaves don't usually lend to super great racing. Now, the racing was good for the racing was pretty decent from second on back at Wilkesboro. I mean, you did have multiple lanes on a repave. It was arguably the best repave you ever saw. I was expecting them last year just run single file, but they were three wide the whole time, except for the lead. So hopefully, as that track ages just a little bit, I think what you're going to have is kind of like in Atlanta. It was repaved. Once it gets into that third year, it's going to be pretty good.
Great.
But also that the biggest problem with Wilkesboro is it's not. You need more cars on the track for it to be good. You know, I mean, when you got only 20 cars out there, it's. I thought the best part of the All Star race last year was when the leader caught lap traffic, and it's just tough when you only got 20 cars out there. So hopefully it'll get points race, and I think you'll see a much better race there, especially because it'll be on about the third year of a repave. Yeah.
And this car does great on repaves, right?
Hopefully they'll have something, but my hopes are almost shot, but maybe.
He said, "I've given up."
Essentially, what I'm saying, it's not a track problem. Support the track, fuss about the package. Is what I'm saying.
He's like, maybe they'll listen eventually.
Yeah.
All right, spicy take recap from last weekend. Texas. Blake said it would be a sellout, 100%, no seats remaining by the time the race started, and there were some empty seats, let's just say, at Texas Motor Speedway.
On the ends, they've. I don't know who their track promoters are, but the fact that that crowd's grown about 5 times bigger than what it was in 2021, they ought to give those track promoters and marketers a raise. I mean, imagine trying to market Texas.
Well, my thing is, like, you had the All-Star race there.
Yeah.
And that was the worst Texas race I ever seen.
Hmm.
And then you had the Reddick Texas race as well. And that was rough too, back when he was with Richard Childress. That one was not a great race either. So, what you thinking on there, Blake?
I think Reddick won the fall race. I think Larson they took it to the All Star race when it was the last generation car.
Yeah, I was saying that the All-Star race it was terrible back then.
I got you. I thought you said Reddick won. I'm sorry.
No, Reddick won a Texas race. It was also awful.
Yeah. No.
It was a separate Texas race.
Okay, I'm tracking. Yeah, it was.
They've had some crappers, is what I'm saying, and to be able to fill 3/4 of the seat up, I mean that's a win in their book, but an L in your books for your spicy take. So moving on, Hocevar did not sweep the weekend. He got swept up in incidents both nights. So that destroyed my plans. Kent said that Byron would not even finish in the top 15. He was able to finish in the top 15. He finished in 13th. So Kent once again takes another L this week. And then Austin said that I think Love was supposed to finish in the top 20, and he did not finish in the top 20 with that Beard Motorsports machine. He finished third.
He kissed that wall good.
Yep, he sure did. Well, Blacko, what do you think will be your spicy take for this particular weekend?
For Kansas.
That's where we're racing.
Man.
You are a man.
No thoughts on transitioning, that is for sure.
No femboy for Blake. All right.
I'm going to say Gibbs gets his first win this weekend.
He's been showing some good efforts here lately, so that could clear. That could clear for sure. That check might be in the mail. It may not, but it'll be pretty close to clearing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's going to be depending on who delivers it.
All right, I'm gonna throw Kent's in here. He texted me his. He said Hocevar gets 2 top 5s this weekend for the truck and the cup race, which I don't know about. Chevy is semi good at Kansas, but Spire's not really been that impressive. But
Maybe this
maybe they have been this year, but just in the past.
they got the same tire package as Texas, and he did pretty good. So we'll see if it's just a combination there, or if it's just the track of Texas for Hocevar for sure.
Yeah, that was Kent's this week. What about you, Senor Austin?
In the cup race, Heim gets stage points.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to say that there's going to be more. No, man, that sounds. I don't know if that. I was going to say, all right, there's going to be more cautions in the truck race than there was last weekend at Texas. So we're going to have
Dear Lord,
12
no.
cautions
So
in the
12
truck
plus
race.
more caution.
No, we're just going to have 12 cautions because the truck race is 11. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm just wilding out here. I don't care anymore. I've given up.
Cut my life into pieces.
My plastic fork. Alrighty. Well, Austin, I believe this is your segment, and talking about cutting his life into pieces. Poor Kent this weekend.
Raking him over the coals,
Man,
Cole.
But he won the truck race pick, so
He's on a streak. He's on a streak.
he's on a losing streak now, baby.
Oh, man. See, let's start with the truck race. Kent did get the win this week with Heim taking the victory in the truck race. Blake finished second with Pick and Chandler Smith at P16. I finished third with Hocevar finishing P17, and Cole finished last with Stuart Friesen getting caught up in some early mess, finishing P.
Freaking freezing, man.
So, oh man, you have first pick this week. You cannot pick Friesen, Sammy, or Heim. Who art thou taking?
I be thy taking Chandler Smith this weekend.
Okay, Channy Smith to Cole. I pick next, and mine's a no-brainer. Give me Heim.
I couldn't pick him.
I know. I think any of us who could would pick him. Blake, you are up next. You cannot pick Riggs, Heim, or Chandler Smith.
Dang, not being had to Riggs. Daggone. He's got to pull up.
I got to pull up the man. I forgot I couldn't pick those three.
You got Byron. You got Byron in the 07, and you got Hocevar in the 7.
I got you.
I can go ahead and tell you, I have Kent's list here, and one of those drivers was in his first pick, so you could probably steal his top pick if you wanted to.
Give me. You know what? We'll just ride the pick.
Ride the Dente.
Give me. Let me ride the Dente with William Byron this week.
Oof.
That was his first pick.
That's tough.
That's cold.
All right, Kent cannot pick Larson, Brandon Jones, or Heim. Who's he taking, Cole?
He's going to take the other 7 truck this weekend. He's going to take Hocevar, which is a pretty good pick for the last pick, I will say.
Yeah, we'll see. So, looking at the regular season standings, Blake has jumped into the lead with 22 points in trucks. Kent is second with 21, so it's not all bad, Kent. It's not all bad. I promise. I am third with 20 points, and then Cole is last with 17 points. It's been a tough truck season for you, Cole.
I got fricked so many times.
The thing is that you only have 2 last place finishes.
I know. I've been consistently like third a lot.
Yeah, that's not the best place to be.
Do it for Dale, baby. Doing it for Dale.
Looking at Xfinity, we will not pick them again until Charlotte, but just to recap our week, Cole finished in first, with Austin Hill taking P4. Kent finished second with Mayor finishing P5, Blake third with Love finishing P7, and then I finished last with Algier getting 5 after getting screwed over.
You got Chris righted.
Yes, he did. So I will have first pick going into Charlotte, which I am A-okay with that. Regular season standings, I currently hold the lead with 32 points. Cole is second with 30, and then Blake and Kent are tied for last with 29 points. So we're all right there, close together. Looking at the Cup Series this past weekend, Blake came out on top with the win. Byron finishing P13. I finished second with Cindric finishing P25. However, I tied Blake in points because Cindric got a stage win. So I was able to sneak an extra point. So me and Blake both got 4 points this past weekend. Cole finished third with Dinger finishing P36, and then Kent
Boom!
P38 with Hamlin having a grenade go off in his car. Let me count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kid has finished last 6 times this season.
And he's still winning the running, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
know.
what?
He's still winning the running because he got those 2 stage wins and finished first.
Kinda.
Well, he cleaned the gap a lot with that week.
He did, but he's got the gap again. Looking at the points, I'm in first with 36 points. Cole's in second with 28.
So far behind.
Well, can't help it. And then Kent and Blake are tied for last at 27 points. Total wins this year, just for counting. I have 6 wins. Blake and Cole have 2, and then Kent has 1. So
I'm on a winning streak.
Oh man. So looking ahead, Kansas is coming up. Did Kent say who he was he did say who he was looking at for Kansas, and that was
Mr. Dirt Racer Christopher Bell,
which is an interesting pick.
I think he's just throwing it off. I think that's just...
Yeah, because, I mean, he can't pick Byron, Logano, or Hamlin, but I think Larson's got to be one he's considering. But he said Bell. We'll roll with that. Cole, you are up next. This coming week, you can't put Busch, Byron, or Dinger. Who are you looking at going into this week?
I mean, obviously, John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, he's the GOAT. I mean, it's Kyle Larson.
He's got a couple truck wins there.
Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I feel like Kyle Larson's the one of the main choices there. For me, I'm next going into this weekend. I can't pick Reddick, Brad Keselowski, or Cindric. Be nice to have Reddick here. But honestly, I'm looking at Hamlin. If Hamlin is available when I pick, I think I might pick him regardless of where he qualifies. Hamlin knows how to win here. He knows how to win at Kansas. He's had a strong start to the year. Aside from the grenade in his car last week, he did pretty good. So I'm looking at Hamlin going into Kansas weekend. Now for Mr. Balake. Blake, you pick last. You can't pick Hamlin, Blaney, or Byron. Man, that's kind of tough going into Kansas. Who are you considering?
Not if Reddick's still available, it ain't. So
I would hate to not have Reddick for next 3 races, though. Next 3 races are really good tracks for him. He's really great at Charlotte.
Yeah, next 3 races are Charlotte, Nashville, and Michigan for points races.
Good at Michigan.
Yeah.
Nashville, you could probably miss out on Nashville because Logano's probably going to win that.
Fuel savings, right? Yeah, I mean,
9th overtime.
Yeah, definitely Reddick, and I think 2311 in general. It wouldn't surprise me if Bubba got another win this weekend too. He's been pretty consistent this year. So
I'll just pick Corey Heim, you loser.
Nah, I'd go Reddick.
Okay.
So, next week we won't pick at least for Cup Series. I think we have our own special little thing that we do. Typically, what we do for the All-Star race is we pick an open driver. I can't remember how many points it was last year, but I think it was like 5 points or something. If we pick the open driver and the open driver wins, really narrow odds there. But if we pick an open driver and that open driver makes it to the actual race, and wins, and that the person that picked that person gets 5 points added to their total. Watch that happen to Kent. Watch him just get lucky and get that.
I'm picking Ty Gibbs, y'all.
So yeah, man, I think I'm picking Ty Gibbs. But yeah, so that's what we'll do for the All-Star race. We'll pick for the truck race. I won't be on. More than likely, will not be on the podcast next weekend because I have exams to take on Tuesday. So
Nerd.
I know.
Priority.
Imagine priorities, right? So yeah, we will see how things go at Kansas and look ahead towards North Wilkesboro.
And that will be it, except Blake has a surprise announcement for the end of the podcast.
Yeah, guys. So I appreciate everybody who's listened so far, and we're obviously you all know we're pretty serious about taking our podcast to the next level, and so we are doing our first official sponsorship. We will be on Brayton Laster's ARCA car for the ARCA race at Charlotte coming up on Memorial Day weekend, that Friday. Definitely encourage you all to come out. You get a really good get a lot of good racing for your ticket because you get an ARCA race and a truck ticket with that day, and lots of practice too. So super excited. Brayton Laster will be coming on the podcast. He's known as the Pizza Man. Got a lot of good stuff on social media, a lot of good content, just grassroots racers. So super excited about that. Really enjoyed working with Cole and him on making this happen. And so we will be partnering with him for the ARCA race at Charlotte. So definitely tune in to Fox Sports 1 or come see it in person. It's going to be fun.
I'd recommend come seeing it in person. But I will say the broadcast so far for the ARCA races I've really enjoyed. I've been pleasantly surprised by how well they've been done.
But definitely go follow Brayton Laster on Facebook and Instagram. He he's got a lot of good stuff. He's if you can try to look at some of the stuff around Daytona, he was just stoked to be able to make it into the ARCA race, and looking forward to having him on. I've been trying to think of some good questions to ask him already, so I think it's going to be a good month and give you a little something to look forward to.
Does he race ARCA East or ARCA West?
So it's main ARCA, then they break
Main ARCA.
then they break it up into ARCA East and ARCA West. I think the plan was to run some ARCA East,
ARCA East.
but and also too, I'll go ahead and put it out there if you are looking to sponsor potentially in NASCAR, he's got some fantastic deals. Really starting at like $100. So he's from what it seems like, a great guy, and looking forward to more partnerships. And we'll also be on the car at Bristol this year. Looking forward to that and hopefully taking our podcast to the next level.
We were hoping to jump on the Rockingham car, but he couldn't make it out to Rockingham because obviously that is not a part of the main ARCA schedule. That is the ARCA East, and that would require more sponsorship, obviously. It would have been pretty cool to have been on the car then, seen him race, but we're going to be super excited to be there for Memorial Day weekend and be able to see him race that car, hopefully to a fantastic finish. We are looking forward to that.
Yep.
Ken is too. He can't say it, but he is. So I just want to throw that out there. Even though he's going to be brewing after this, if he made it all the way to the end, he's going to be a sauna of just. All right, boys. Let me tell you how I felt about the podcast.
I can't imagine what you'd be mad about, guys. I mean, I was embarrassed. I mean, what went wrong this weekend? You know,
when I text him about the graphics or whatever, I'm be like, yeah, we just made fun of you the whole entire podcast. So just choose a picture of you or something.
Yeah.
It's like, is Kent cursed? Main title of podcast.
You know, it says in the Bible, "Curses any man who hangs on a tree," and I'm starting to think that, like, man, I don't know what Kent did, but man, he is cursed. this is almost like divine at this point.
Well, don't laugh, Blake. You're tied for last too. So
Well,
if there's any curses with trees, then there's other people that need to be more talked about in regards to trees. Yeah. So
yeah, we know a lot about trees.
yeah, hanging low, buddy. All right, we are heading off the podcast. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. See you later. Bye.